Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's night. Earlier today, we wrapped up the month of July with an 8-2 victory over the Royals. A good pitching performance from Dennis Leonard, his first win of the season. And we basically had this game put away pretty early on. A nice change from the way things have been going for us. So in this video, we're going to summarize the month of July for us. We're going to take a look at the standings and the league leaders. And then, of course, July 31st is the trade deadline. And now that we've completed the final game of the month, the trades are over, and we're going to take a look at the transactions and see if there were any final trades on the final day of the month. And then we're going to go back and look at the trades from earlier this season to see if there were any winners or losers in those deals and if any of the players have succeeded in their new place. So first of all, I guess let's start with the standings. That's the easiest thing to do. And also the most challenging to look at, because I feel like we are just such an average team. And we're 51 and 55, 4 games under 500, right? And I don't feel like we have a lot of hope, considering the fact that we just got our first win from one of our 2 rookie pitchers that we held in such high regard and have really netted no value other than, like as I mentioned, Dennis Leonard's victory today. So in our division, Oakland has a 4.5 game lead over Chicago. California kept pace until this month, and then the injuries finally beset them and put them in a position where I think they're pretty much done, and everybody else in this division is really unworthy of consideration. So it's come down to Oakland and Chicago for the final 2 months, and I have no idea which way it's going to go. They're kind of equal teams in most ways. If you look at the American League East, you'll see that New York and Baltimore are battling it out. Baltimore being the only other team in the American League other than us that have a negative cash bank account, right? So they're unable to make trades or sign free agents when the season's over, and yet they did make a trade yesterday that we know of where they got Ron Santo to play third. So we'll take a look at that more closely, but I would expect them to cut payroll, but they did not do that. In fact, they added payroll, and I just don't see how that's possible. But the game let them do it. They would not let us do that, but they did let Baltimore do that. And really, Cleveland's still in there. They've been in second place almost all year with occasional runs at first. And Boston really not out of it, despite being 6 games under. We actually have a better record than Boston. But they're only 8.5 back. Washington and Detroit are done. Let's take a look here at the National League. Really strange to see that St. Louis has taken hold of the East. I don't know what that's all about. Thanks for nothing. But with New York and Philadelphia both having the lead in the East at some point, they're both 7 games back now. Chicago's 9 with a 57 and 50 record. So I don't think we can count them out. Pittsburgh and Montreal are done. Wow, Montreal has won 37 games. I guess that's why they traded Ron Santo. And then if you look at the West, Houston is 4 games up on Los Angeles, and everybody else is done. And Cincinnati's only won 38 games. So, I mean, these division races are still up for grabs. All of them, I think, really. And so there's still a lot to be settled. Going back to the American League here, you'll see that our batting average, 254, is above the American League average. Home runs, we barely hit. We have had 3 in the last 5 games. So now we are no longer the worst home run hitting team in the American League. Kansas City and Washington are both worse than us. But we do have the worst ERA in all of baseball with a 4.59 ERA. So, yeah, I mean, the best we can hope for is 500 or better. And really, if we completely dropped in the standings to get a better draft pick for next year, I would not be upset about that. But I don't know how good that is for entertainment, watching me get angry every game and losing my mind, right? So, I don't know. There's the standings for you. That's all I can say. Let's go to, let's do the league leaders last, because that's all encompassing. Let's go to transactions, which we did not look at after today's game. Is there any final trade? No, there was the Santo trade from yesterday. And in fact, everything else, the no-hitter from Nolan Ryan and the injury and the retirement are all from yesterday. So there was no July 31st transactions at all. So that'll make that easy. Let's go ahead and switch this over to trades for the season. And then there are some that happened prior to spring training. We're going to ignore that and just go right to spring training, which was on March 1st, with the season starting April 1st. And we'll see if any of these players have succeeded in their new homes. It's hard. I'm laughing because Rico Petrocelli, we know, has been traded 4 times this year. And, by clicking on him, we will see all the different ones. So let's take a look at Rico first. Rico Petrocelli popping up here. He's played for California, Boston, and Philadelphia. But if you look at his transaction log, Philadelphia to Boston, Boston to California, California back to Boston, Boston to Philadelphia. So he's been traded a bunch this year. And I don't know why. Is it because he's a power-hitting shortstop with a good defensive rating? Why wouldn't anybody want to keep him? I don't get it. But you can see what he's done in every stop. He's been decent everywhere he's been, and now he's batting .338 for Philadelphia, maybe keeping them in the race. So there you go. There's Rico Petrocelli on the Phils. These other guys, we don't really... Where are we at here? Here we go. We don't need to worry about those guys. And then Montreal traded Boog Powell to St. Louis. How's the Boogster doing? 10 home runs. Batting .268. So, not terrible. Playing every day for the most part. In return, Montreal got Ed Crosby and Dick McVeigh. And then there's Rico getting traded again for a couple of schlubs. We don't need to... John Vukovic was an okay player. So was Pete Mackin. But we know that they're minor leaguers. They haven't played in the majors. Okay, then Dick Dietz got traded to the Cardinals, and it looks like he's now the backup catcher, hitting 23 home runs last year with 80 RBI, walking 107 times, to being a backup catcher with a .492 on-base percentage. That seems like an error on the Cardinals' part, not giving him more everyday at-bats. Goose Gossage went to the Giants. He's still in single A, so we don't have to be overly concerned. And then we traded a bunch of players here. Oh my gosh, there are so many schlubs. All right. We got Wayne Granger from Cincinnati. We gave up a bunch of guys. So Wayne Granger, he just blew his 8th save for us. You'll see that he's been okay. Somebody's got to be our closer on our team. We gave it to him, and he's 22 for 30, walking more than he strikes out. So we can't feel great about that, can we? But did we win the deal, I guess? We gave up Remy Hermoso, and he is not playing for the Reds. We gave up Gary Gestad, and he is not playing for the Reds. He's in single A. We gave up Camilo Pascual, our number 5 starter, at the beginning of the year. He's in triple A. He was out of baseball by 1971. Gary Holman not doing anything. Gary Timberlake, bringing sexy back to the Reds. He's on the IL, or the DL, well, the IL, I guess, technically, for 31 days. Steve Whitaker is actually on the Reds with a 63 rating. I don't get it. But he's got a home run. He's contributing. So good for him. And Dick Raditz, 20 games for the Reds in relief. And is doing what he should be doing. Getting people out. And Gary Sutherland, who recently passed away in real life, is now on the Reds. And he's got 30 at-bats. Where has he been playing defensively? Second base. Okay. That's really the only position he's capable of. All right. I mean, as far as value, I guess we are using our guy more than anybody else, so we'll take it. Okay, then we traded away Jack DeLauro to the Cubs, and he's made 5 relief appearances and pitching pretty good. I mean, it's only 5 innings. And in return, pardon me, we got Don Young, who's been terrible. 8 for 50, batting 160 for us. He can play good defense, but he can't hit. And he finds himself in AAA. I don't see him getting called back up until September. And then we have Rose Skidmore, who's got all this power and is finally starting to hit the ball. He's been consistent the whole season. So good that we've basically taken away the job of Joe Pepitone. Now we have them sort of doing, the splits for lefty versus righty matchups. But Rose Skidmore getting the job done. So we certainly won that deal. Going down a little bit further, there's Rico and Makinen again. And then Davey Johnson going to Boston. And he's really not playing all that much. He must be platooning as well. Yeah, I mean, he's got only 1 home run for the Red Sox. In return, they gave up Pagan and Luis Alvarado. Alvarado's not even playing for the Reds. And then we did a solid trade so far. We got Rick Auerbach on June 3rd. We're already in June. From the, where was it? We get them from? Oh, yeah, Cleveland, right? And all he's done has been solid, batting 300, 12 extra base hits in 36 games. Barely striking out. Cannot steal a bag. Defensively, been okay. Only 3 errors in 36 starts. So, he's been good. But how is Jerry Stevenson doing for Cleveland? He's only made 3 starts. 2-1 with a 3 ERA. So he's pitching as good for them as he was for us. About the same walk to strikeout ratio. Opponents are batting only .216 against him. I mean, that fastball is so good. If we had the ability to re-sign him as a free agent, because I don't know if Cleveland will, I would definitely pick him up as a free agent once again. But I don't know if we're going to be able to do that because of our negative funds. And then we also traded Mitchell Page, which is no real loss. A good player in real life. He even had a Topps Gold Cup card there after his rookie season, but primarily a DH. He can play left field. We're not going to miss him. We got Jim Rice to play left field coming through the farm system. And then there was this weird trade for Wayne Twitchell. And then with New York, and neither one of those got, I don't know what that was all about. That made no difference in anybody's career. And then Houston got the Clapp, Terry Clapp. And they're not using him. And Ken Forsch goes to the Yankees. weird that the Yankees are doing all of these minor league deals. Oh, Scheinblum went on to the Titans. Oh, no, this was where so that was a 1-for-1 deal. And then Jim Hutto went to the Astros. And in return, Scheinblum goes to the Phils. Whoa. Batting .373 for the Phillies. The Phillies are making good deals for players that are actually helping them. Montreal trades Brian Downing to the A's. Has not played yet. And in return, they got 3 guys. Dennis Worth has not played. Greg Haderman. He has pitched 1 game. Got rocked back down in single A. And Bob McClure, not ready for prime time. Okay, and then we made this deal, try to save us a little bit of money. We traded Brubaker to Cincinnati. He's made 6 starts. He's 1-2 with a .580 ERA. So that is no big loss. And in return, we got Mike Cosgrove, who could just not get an out at the major league level. 6 walks, no strikeouts. Room to grow, but he is absolutely not ready. Okay, then we did another trade as we're trying to, shed payroll and, take on players that could help us in the future. So we got rid of Darren Johnson. This was a hard one for me because he's always played well for us up until this year. In fact, he had 34 home runs last year. And this year we gave him the first base job, and he could not repeat what he was doing. He went to a platoon role and then just came off the bench until we traded him. And now the Royals are not using him in any way. John Gelnar was terrible in a starting role. Got some relief appearances. He was never good for us, other than, I guess, a good stretch during his first year. But we don't have to deal with that crap anymore. Dick Hall is pitching. Oh, no, he's in AAA now. But Dick Hall did get into 3 games as a 40-year-old for the Royals. All right, and then we also traded Ron Peranowski, who we just saw. 5 games, 5 innings, giving up 1 run and 3 hits. That's pretty good. Good job by him. And in return, we got Joe Keough, who's now in AAA. We gave him a little bit of a chance, but we are rich on outfielders right now. And Joe Keough really, at best, is a 4th outfielder, and we've already got those. So he might be a trade guy. Also, we got Scott Northey in that deal, who had a good game today. Does seem to hit lefties well, but he can't hit righties. He can play any outfield position, and he's doing okay for us. So, all right, so not a big deal either way. And then Tony Perez got traded from Cincinnati as their cleaning house. He goes to St. Louis, and St. Louis can't even give him an everyday job. Hall of Famer, totally disrespected in this game. He's never had 200 at-bats in a season since we started the sim. In return, Cincinnati got some guys. And then there goes Rico. And in return, Boston got Darryl Porter. I mean, what a great strategy. Trade away a guy, get good players, get them back, giving up schlubs, and then trade them again and get more good players. I mean, I can't argue with that philosophy. And then we traded, again, a salary dump. I was grateful for this one. We got rid of Tommy Agee, who I think I think he's a fan favorite. He's had good years up until now, and then he just stopped stealing. He was 38 out of 48. Worse the second year, and impossible stealing this year. You'll see what he's done for the Royals since we traded him. Solid up until our series, and I believe he's 0 for 10. He's 0 for 11. We had the extra inning game. and then 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. So we're shutting him down. So we gave up Agee and Aurelio Rodriguez. Aurelio was so good for us last year at the plate. We know he's a Gold Glover, but we had to kick in somebody good to get rid of Agee's payroll, and Aurelio Rodriguez made the most sense because Rollins is hitting so well for us. And we've got George Brett in Single A. And we got Greg Pryor in Triple A. So, third base we have on lock. But unfortunately, we had to get rid of Aurelio. And because he wasn't hitting, it made it a little bit easier. We got Chris Zachary, who's our number 5 starter, and he's been bad. But somebody's got to do it. And maybe he'll figure it out. So, we'll see. Okay, and then Washington traded Jim Franch to the Phils. 6 games. He's got a home run. Kind of a guy that was never an everyday player until our sim came along. I don't know. I think he might be the backup on the Phillies. In return, they got a couple schlubs. And then we traded, by the suggestion of Don T, Tom Carroll and Aaron Pointer for anybody that we could get. And we got Leon Brown, another good defensive player with some power. And he's in AAA, so he's just another guy. And then with the trade that we just saw that happened yesterday, where Ron Santo went to Baltimore somehow with a $425 salary, even though Baltimore should not be allowed to take on extra salary because they're in the negative overall. So there's all the trades. I don't know. I always find it interesting to look back at this point of the season to see if anyone is, doing what they, benefiting in the trade, and most of those guys are backups. So this is a very weak trade year. As we flip the calendar to August, you see we have the Royals, the Senators, the Orioles to lead off the month. Only 2 days off the entire month. So we have some health challenges for the month of August. All right, well, now all we have to do is take a look at the league leaders, and we'll wrap this baby up. We try to get through this as quickly as we can. As we take a look at the American League batting stats first, and then we'll go to batting and fielding, and then we'll go to pitchers. Now, this is a little bit of a shock. Jim Northrup coming out of nowhere to be the batting leader, batting .321 on a last-place team. He was on the block but could not get traded. I don't know why you wouldn't want a batting leader. Joe Torre, Ed Herman for Chicago, Billy Parker, Charlie Manuel, Jay Johnstone. Then we got Manny and Tito. Tito just went 7 for 9 in the last 2 games to get up to 285. But man, talk about a drop-off. Yaz is in 8th place at 300, and then it goes from 299 to 285, down to 268 qualifying in the top 25. So it's nice to see 2 Pilots hitters there. Not Rich Rollins. Rich Rollins is batting the best on anybody, of anyone on our team. He's batting 308, but does not qualify yet. He might get there. Okay, we'll take a look at bats. Fred Frazier, rookie for Minnesota. Sanguillen and Fuentes. Doubles. Jose Cruz still holding on to the lead with 28. Manny Sanguillen's got 19. Feel free to pause this and look a little bit longer if you want. We have extra base hits. Jose Cruz with 37. John Ellis from Detroit and Billy both have 40. What did I miss? Grounding the double plays. Yeah, Pepitone. I feel like he's slowed down the pace since we're hitting and running more. But Yaz has 25. We do like to look at the fielding averages just for the main infielders. Manny, 3rd. Okay, that's not bad. Thurman Munson last. That's stupid. That's just dumb. First base, Rose Skidmore qualifying. Mike Fiore can't hit, but he's got a good glove. Second base, Tito Fuentes right in the middle of the pack. Dalton Jones. Oh, so that's why Davy Johnson is platooning. Dalton Jones is the other guy, and he's great. Third base. Well, hey, not only is Rich Rollins not last, but he's over 900, and he's got a 916 fielding percentage, and he could get past Joe Foy by tomorrow. Aurelio must be in the minors. He was actually, he did not have that good of a year defensively. Interesting. Okay, well, Rich Rollins. Shortstop, Mark Belanger. The only way he gets into the game is as a defensive replacement, so he must be qualifying on games played and not on, like total at-bats or anything. Okay. Fielding average for the left fielder, Jose Cruz, is making a ton of errors lately. Is he double-digit errors? Almost. He's got 9. And he's been on a roll lately where he's been making more than he should. But Roy White has yet to make an error, so good job by him. Respect to Roy White always. Center field, there's Scott Northey representing us. There's Tommy Agee right ahead of him. That would have been our center fielder of record. And Tom Silverio at the bottom. Rick Miller. I mean, he was an outfielder. I don't think of him as an outfielder. I guess he was. And then in right field is Joe Pepitone. How are we playing Joey Pepit first? He should always be in right field. But we got Dave Parker, and we want to get him a bunch of at-bats. So Joey Pepitone, good job by him. Jay Johnstone may get the gold glove if Pepitone doesn't qualify at the end of the year. Games played, Rich Rollins been in 100, Joey Pep's been in 98. Hits, Joe Torre, 130 hits. Manny Sanguillen, 118. Tito Fuentes, 109. And I don't think we would have anybody else close, especially now that AG's been traded. Who's been hit by a pitch the most? A bunch of guys. And a backup catcher. That's weird. Okay, home runs. I know this is what you want to see. Billy Parker with 24. And Reggie with 23. Tony Solita, home run leader last year. Jim Lytle, Charlie Manuel, Bobby Mercer. So 3 Yankees right there. And then the top 6 ends at 20. And then everybody else is in the teens, including Joey Pep, who's been on a good stretch lately with 14. Let's take a look at, I don't really care much about this on-base percentage. We have nobody. Ed Herman, though. Outfield assists. Well, Scott Northey has 12. I don't think he's got any for us. Does he have 1? Nope, he does not. Jose Cruz has 9, also has 9 errors. That's not great. And Joey Pep has 5 from out there in right field. Most of the, what's Carl Yastrzemski's arm? Below league average, right? All right. That's dumb. I don't care about that stuff. OPS we'll look at. Billy, 901. Jose Cruz down with 750. Range factor, we don't care. RBI. Jim Lytle and Reginald Jackson. Reginald Martinez Jackson, that is his middle name. Joey Pep's got 59, so he's right there. And Manny and Jose driving in runs occasionally. This is just not an offensive year based on the home runs and RBI that we've seen. Defensively, for the catchers, who's thrown out the most runners? George Mitterwald. Manny Sanguin's thrown out 21, but I feel like he gets... Well, we'll find out exactly his thrown out percentage. Yeah, he's one of the worst now. Yeah, he can't throw anybody out. Randy Brown. Well, he's down 10%. His range is not as bad, and his defensive WAR is not as good. That is a real bummer. Okay. And, you know, our backup, Clay Dalrymple's better defensively, but also is terrible. All right. Runs scored. There's Jose Cruz. Rick Miller with 77. Sacrifice hits. Hey, Dave Boswell's got 9. Good job by Boz. Sack flies. Joey Pepin, Manny Sanguin have 5. Doug Howard for California has 8 with Hal King of Boston. Steals. This is a lean year for steals. Freddie Patek, former Pilot, has 36. Angel Bravo's got 28. Jose Cardinal and Jerry Kenny. Jose Cruz has the most on our team now that we traded away AG. Fuentes, Scott Northey, who we acquired recently. Steal success. Yeah, way down there. AG below 500. Great. Below 50, I should say. Strikeouts. Who's striking out the most? Red J, 89. Tommy Agee would have been right there. Scott Northey could have been there. Strikeout percent. Yeah, Manny Sanguin, 4.1%, and it's not even close. Now, you know, we hit and run with him all the time when there's someone on. So he's putting the ball in play and not striking out. Total bases, Billy. All right. Triples, Scott Northey, not us. Does he have a triple for us? He does. Rollins, of course, and Bosch, and Tito. Cool. I do like seeing our batters on the list. Not this list. Not ever. Walks. Tony Solita has 74. He's got 8 walk lead over Gene Tennis. Was there anybody on here that now has been traded? No. Nope. Okay. And that's it. Okay, let's look at pitchers, and then we'll wrap this baby up. Let's just go to complete games. Holy shnikey, Andy Messersmith. This guy's got to be... He's got to be the Cy Young Award winner, and he's not even a 500 pitcher. I mean, he is, basically. 11 complete games and 2 shutouts. He started the All-Star game. We've got nobody on this list ever. I think Boswell's got 2. And then if we scroll on down to ERA, of course. Oh, actually, Al Downing is edged out Messersmith. Is Downing injured, though? No, he's just resting. Okay, that's interesting. Well, how many shutouts does he have? Only 2. All right, so Downing, Messersmith, Stottlemyre. There's 7 pitchers under 3. Jorge Rubio just now qualifies, but every 5 days he unqualifies until he pitches again. And his ERA because he just got clobbered in his last start. I think he gave up 6 runs, but he was down. He was in the top 10 before that one, that last start. Okay, games pitched. The Colonel, Ken Sanders, Ray, Riddleberger, the Lone Granger, and Ron Lockett Down, all qualifying. You Got Fingered is in second. All right. I don't really care about that. Who's hit the most batters? Jim Maloney of Boston. Okay. Home runs allowed. Who's given up the most home runs? Mickey Lolich of Detroit. Dave Boswell right up there as well. It's disturbing, but he has pitched better of late, so we got to give him that much. Innings pitched, in fact. Wow, Mel Stottlemyre almost at 200 innings, and we just finished July. I wonder if he'll get to 300. Take a look at everybody else. Of course, we will never have anybody on that list because we never go to four-man. Let's see, innings per game. I don't care. Blah 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 blah. Quality starts. Out of curiosity, Al Downing, 22. Dave Boswell on the list, and so is Jorge Rubio. They both have the same amount of quality starts. I would not have thought that. Don't care about that. Saves. Okay, well, Granger, despite blowing 8 saves, is right up there with Rade. And, I mean, you know, it's the 70s. Saves, you might have one guy utilized properly and the rest of the guys, you know, just get an occasional save. Take a look at shutties. 3 with 3. 2 for Washington, Bozeman, Coleman, and Jerry Nyman. Whoa. 3-man, man. That's weird, isn't it? Okay, starts. 25 is where some pitchers are at based on their rotation. I think we have 20 or 21 as our top. Strikeouts pitched. Dave Boswell is on the list. Jim Maloney with 148. Neat. Wait, did we look at walks for hitters? Tony Solita. Yeah, we did. Okay, I'm sorry. I always feel like I forget that one. Okay, wins. Vita Blue has 14 wins. I wonder how many of these will get to 20. Vita Blue on the A's could. He's not pitching great, though. Dave Boswell has 9. He might be our only pitcher to get to double digits. All right. There's walks per 9 innings. Okay, nobody on our team, of course. Okay, guys. There you go. There's the American League. We'll flip it over to the Nationals. And there you see Ralph Garr leading in batting average. Michael Jack, huge lead in home runs with 26 RBI. The Penguin and Michael Jack. Tom Paciorek. Steals. Matt Alexander and the great Lou Brock going ahead with Davey Lopes. And Joe Morgan. Yeah, so, you know, National League's always about steals in the 70s and 80s. Okay, that's all we have time for today. I do appreciate everyone checking in. Like and or subscribe to the channel. Don't forget we do have a subscriber giveaway coming up by game 120. So we are 14 games away. You must be a subscriber. We're going to give away 4 prizes. Some really great stuff. So stay tuned for that. Be a subscriber. Get in on that. We'll take participants in the next couple of days. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Start the brand new month of August. Until then, everyone, have a great day.